way. I can hear you. And I've already been talking with Henry and Linda. So, and this is not us. This is something else that's popping up onto the screen. My
Oh,
husband, my husband is having fun and he is very excited in the background. And so,
great.
my goodness. Okay, so Maria, have
Mhm.
you met either Linda Burhans or Henry Lang before this moment?
No, I
No,
haven't. So I'm so happy to meet you both.
me too.
And it's possible that you took a look at what each other
Wait,
does,
yeah.
but Maria, goodness, where is she? Yep, that's what I figured was as soon as she said, I can come on the 20th, that I was like, who else can we bring in here? Let's have a diverse bunch. So I have a radio personality. Is that accurate, Linda?
I am the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned.
Yay.
All right. Love
There,
that. Love helping out fellow caregivers.
Yeah. Yeah, because I have a radio show, I have a podcast, I do a Tuesday tip, I do 2 annual conferences, support groups, workshops, journaling.
Wow,
So,
that's a lot of support. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And what do you do?
Such dedication.
I help people create beautiful and safe bathrooms. I'm an occupational therapist and I sell grab bars, shower seats, bidet seats so people can make a safe bathroom that they like looking at.
Well, that's so funny because I just had some gentleman come in to give me an estimate on getting my bathroom done, take the tub out and everything. And
Great.
so, and maybe take a wall out. And I said to the two of them, we just have to make sure that I can fit my walker in here. And he looks at me. He goes, you don't have a walker. I said, not yet. I said, but there's a good opportunity. I'm going to need one day. I said, it's not going to be a little sissy walker. It's going to be a big Cadillac walker.
I love it.
With headlights and taillights,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
if you've got to go to that neighbor's house because the cookies aren't going to deliver themselves, or
Right.
they've got a game going and you've got skin in that game,
Yeah.
it's like you've got to get home safely, the whole bit. Oh my goodness. Henry is the first time that I've ever invited, and first time having someone who has the word recruiter. So since I have been a caregiver, I know how much of my time, I was a hired caregiver. I know how much of my time, well, I did it with family too. And both times you show up somewhere that does healthcare with people who have machines and they have years of background and they have scrubs and they've got things around their neck to listen to your heart. All these things are going on. They're going to talk to you about dietary changes that you can make to feel better. And I'm there. I'm not just alongside. I feel a little bit blended with my people, thinking, oh, that's good news. I can do that, in the kitchen, or that's better for safety in the bathroom. I'm so glad that's being brought up. So a recruiter makes sure that that's going on. And Henry, I'm just going to say, when we first came onto the screen before we went live, I said to you, I noticed that when I went into the doctor's just days ago, that there was a vibe going on in the waiting room. And yes, it's been a number of years. Is that a thing? Was I noticing? Because around here, it's Dutch Brothers Coffee
Ooh.
that has people, when you drive through for coffee, that person will literally like sit out on that little place where they put your coffee and go, what's going on? Oh, is that your dog? Oh my goodness. And they're just, what's happening? Oh, do you want whipped cream on that? So anyway, and they're all about that. And I thought I was seeing that in the waiting room. And Henry had this great reply to that there is a and excitement, etc. So, Henry, would you tell these ladies and those who'll be watching in replay and those who are already watching and are going to put a comment and maybe a question for any of you today, can you tell me what it was that I saw and that it's a real thing? I wasn't imagining it.
You were not imagining it. And we all have lots of different hats. One of my hats is a facilitator for a communication course for healthcare providers. And one of the problems is there's this burnout. We all hear about burnout and resilience, and people are leaving the field and going to do other stuff. And the program was originally designed by Mayo because they could not figure out a way to get their staff and patient satisfaction above a certain threshold. No matter what they did, what they gave away, it would not move. And they really took a close look at it. And what it was, what a lot of it had to do with is people who go into healthcare, especially people who actually deliver the care, do it out of some type of calling. They didn't do it to chase insurance around, or I mean, there's easier ways to make money than to do healthcare. Yeah. They did it because something in their heart drew them to do healthcare. But when they get in the business of healthcare, they lose that. It goes away. They get caught up in staffing and insurance and billing and how many patients do you see? And what this course teaches and what's going on throughout all of healthcare is this idea of introducing mindfulness and presence. And mindfulness and presence then takes the diabetes at 12:30 and turns it back into Mr. Jones. It takes the Mr. Grumpy Pants just got here and change it back. Like you become in the moment. You kind of turn all the crazy stuff off and you're in the moment. And what ends up happening is, and it's kind of what I was explaining to you, it's supposed to be to give the patient a better experience. But when you're mindful and you're there, that original call, that thing that drove you to medicine, you get back. That spark gets relit. And then it just kind of creates this energy of like, you're looking forward to see Mr. Jones, and you understand that there's more to him than just his diagnosis and the fact that he's grumpy. He's grumpy for a reason, you know, and you get to know what that reason is. And it's because, he can't see well, and it's going to get dark at exactly, it's in the summertime, it's the wintertime, and he's nervous. And then once you know that, you're like, oh, let's get him back here. He's got to get back on the road, because guess what? Now that you didn't just rush past it and listen to him for just a couple of minutes, he's the only caretaker at home for his wife. And he's worried that I got to get this done and I got to get back before it gets dark. I got to stop at the store and I can't see after dark. And if I don't get back, who's going to take care of her? And there's all these other layers that are going on that we gloss over when we're not present.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, that's great work. And, as a healthcare worker who's left the field, I totally understand the burnout and the feelings. You have that compassion fatigue, where it does make it difficult to pay attention to whoever you're working with and see those layers, like you were saying. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
And this is the way that it played out. I'm sitting there and everything's in one place where I go. So I was going in for, some tests, and I was coming back to schedule. They needed to do an updated picture of me, and all these. So I was going back and forth between the different counters. And here are people in scrubs and, things around their neck that help them listen to people's hearts and, and all these good things. And I hear this guy just calling out, I'll say Jones again, Mrs. Jones, I haven't seen you in so long. Woo, you're looking great. Oh, and the response, and then it's, this liveliness. And I'm like, I'm so used to waiting rooms being hushed.
Yeah.
Someone might not be feeling well. There might be a serious, they might be feeling concern and they're just trying to pretend like they're reading something to and instead everybody's kind of listening in going, what's that? And I feel like these conversations are like that too. We could come on and just go, aren't things bad? Yeah, let's complain about it more because that'll help. Instead, I've got people like you three who are going, yes, aging has its challenges, care, self-care, healthcare, caregiving has its challenges, longevity. Some people are afraid of it. They're like, I do want to live longer than today, but I'm not sure how much longer. Literally hear people when they see
Yeah.
my badge, aging network, they hear I'm an aging enthusiast. It's just like, no, I don't want to live a long time. It just sounds overwhelming. And I'm going, I guess I got into this because in some eras, I had 3 different people that were 96 years old. And I was delighted to know them and to
Yeah.
hear all those layers, to know, yes, there was grumpy. Yes, there was, but I knew I got to know them well enough that I knew what was behind it. And I also learned most of the time how to circumvent, even with dementia, how to, there were times when I couldn't do anything to satiate maybe a sadness, but there was my presence was something, a squeeze of the hand or whatever, so I love that you're all here. Okay, is the phrase, Maria, toilet talk?
Yes, toilet talk. We love pretty potties and hate ugly medical equipment. So yes, well, just to briefly share, I got into it because as an occupational therapist, I worked in nursing homes, and I would help people get better. They would go back home, but then something would happen where they would end up back in the hospital and back in the rehab. And a majority of the time, it's because their home wasn't set up for them to be successful in their home. And I came to learn that especially the bathroom, people were unable to safely get in and out of the shower, or they're having difficulty with toileting. So, and actually, just to share a couple of facts, the number 1 place to fall at home is when you step out of the shower. And the number 2 place to fall at home is off of the toilet. So that's why I focused my love of making changes to the home. Throughout the life, aging, our bodies make changes. None of us are the same throughout every single point in our life. And so for me, I'm like, why do you have to try to work on getting stronger or improving your arm movement when you can just change the bathroom so that you could take care of yourself and make those changes to your home? So that's what I love to do. I'm very passionate about it. I don't feel like you have to have an ugly bathroom. You could have one that helps you no matter what injury or illness you're going through. And I tell people I have grab bars in my bathroom as well. I'm in my 30s. I was in a car accident. It's lovely to sit on my shower seat that folds up and down from the wall. I can use it whenever I like. And it's just, I even tell people my 4-year-old, she uses a grab bar to get in and out of the shower too. And when she first started using it, she didn't even, I didn't have to demonstrate how to do it. It was an intuitive thing.
Right.
So I'm so happy to be with you all today, especially people who love supporting caregivers and who want to, who are enthusiastic as you all are in aging in a safe, healthy way.
Well, it's funny. Tomorrow I'm doing a presentation on fall prevention.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, is tomorrow the first day of fall?
Yeah, and this whole week here in Florida, it's fall prevention week.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on with it. So
I love that. And tell us more about what you're going to be talking about.
Well, prevent the fall, prevent the call.
Yeah.
And just being prepared. And I also work with a company called Super Patch, which is a company that's drug-free patches. And I used to trip a lot. I just was a person that tripped a lot. And I've been wearing the patches for 3 years, and I have not tripped, and none of my shoes are scuffed up.
Nice.
And I'm very concerned with my caregivers, because my biggest concern with my caregivers is over medication and fear of the fall. Because both of them can be the end. The fall can be the end, or fear of the fall can be the end, because now I don't get up anymore because I might fall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we're not made to sit in a chair. I tell
Nope.
my caregivers, if you rest, you rust, and you have to move to lube, and
Yep.
that's really important. And just making fun from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making fun. I try to do everything with fun. I'm pretty much what you see is what you get, girl. But that's good because then people can relate to you because you're the same as them.
Right.
I love it. I love that you bring the humor because yeah, I agree with that too. Like toilet talk, it's just, you know,
Yeah.
a silly way to talk about an important conversation, you know, and especially with helping out caregivers and focusing on fall prevention. Yeah, you got to take it there because I can't scare people and say, well, you could fall and break your hip and then you could go to the
Right.
hospital and it's, you know, 87% of people over the age of 85 will die within a year. You know, nobody wants to hear that.
Well, you know, recently, a couple of months ago, I had people coming to visit me and they were all over 80. So the first thing I did is I live in a townhome is I put those lights when you walk up the step, it lights up, you know, at nighttime. And then I put those the lights in the toilet bowl so you can see it. And it's like a discotheque, I'll tell you. You can make it all different colors of one color. And I was talking about it on the radio show a couple of weeks ago, and the producer was like laughing, and he thought it was so funny. The next week I brought him one. He said, that is the best thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, in just simple ways you can help yourself.
Exactly. I cannot believe the timing because Linda, you came on and would you repeat what you said earlier? Oh, and I do want to say hello to Mary. This may be the first time that I've had an interaction with
There you go.
Mary, who has made a wonderful comment. Excellent topic conversation, everyone. I'm so glad I joined. And Ani, who has been on the show and came in just to see how things are going, agree, such a big issue. With my parents, we had to make adjustments.
Yeah.
You are getting ahead of this, Linda. We were talking about a walker. Could you talk about that again for the people that are just coming in?
Yes, I was just saying recently I had some gentlemen come in to give me an estimate on redoing my bathroom, on taking out the tub, because I've done so many support groups and workshops and have met so many caregivers. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. And I want to be safe, and I want my family to know that I'm safe so they don't have to worry about me. So when the guys came to measure up for the bathroom, because we're going to take out a wall too, I said to them, it has to be big enough for me to get my walker in here. And they looked at me like I was nuts. They said, you don't use a walker. I said, not yet. There's maybe a day I do need a walker. And if I do, it's not going to be a sissy walker. It's going to be a big Cadillac walker with the lights on it and maybe who knows what else. But I just want, because as I myself age, I want to live. I want to live. You know, stop living is not a part of aging.
No.
And as more as I can prepare for it, and as more as I can be a good example to someone else, then they get it. It's like, so I have a big presence on YouTube. And so when my grandson comes over with his friends, they're like 19, 20 years old. I tell them, pull out your phone and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
I like the little lady.
I say, watch my blooper video. I said, and then watch some of my other videos because you boys are going to be taking care of me someday.
Mm-hmm.
And they all laugh. But a couple of weeks ago, I saw the one boy in the supermarket. And he said, you know, Grandma, I thought that was kind of funny, your YouTube channel and everything. He said, but I looked at it and I showed it to my grandpa. And I think it's going to help him with my grandma.
Oh,
wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
There.
We need to have the conversation. We need to have the conversation with our families, with our children, so people aren't afraid.
No, they need to be able to talk about these things. I was recently going over. I'm getting out of the military next year, and I'm a big goal person. Like 10-year goal.
Yeah.
It was like I was going through this goal setting thing, and I stumbled upon it was like a book or something, but really it totally changed everything. You make the goal. I want to live as long and as healthy and as functional as possible. And then when you make that like the primary goal, all the little goals kind of fall under there. And then you're just able to make choices based off of, well, this big goal, is this choice going to help me do that? No, it's not going to help me do that, because that's what we want. And that's what I think everyone wants. And I think for both of you all three of you, of caregivers, and with you helping people, I know people want to stay at home. They want to do their own thing. They want to be independent. My parents, I always tell them, are you asking me because you want me to make the decision, or do you want to keep making the decision? They're like, oh, no. I'll keep making my own decisions, because they want to do their own thing as long
But
as
you
they
never know.
possibly
At one point, my mother said, I don't want to make any more decisions, Linda. You take care of it. She didn't want to
Exactly.
pick something off a
Exactly.
menu. I'm like, okay.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
Yeah, love that you clarify that with your parents too. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
just so we're all on the same page right now.
Yes.
But see, the thing with me is I can't be blabbing all this stuff to my caregivers if I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't be the caregiver advocate that falls in the tub and I'm stuck there for 2 days. Would not be good. Would not be good.
Wouldn't be a good look.
And I talk to them even about, like simple things, exercise. I go to Curves 3 mornings a week at the old ladies' gym, but I go and I walk there. And there are some women that come in there that are over 90 years old and they're still moving and they're socializing. They got up, they came. I don't care if they can't do that much. They're there. And that's what's so important.
And what they don't realize is how motivational they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. There's a gentleman. My wife and I, we bike ride, and there's a gentleman. He shows up at the Wednesday ride, and he's deep in his 70s. He's dealing with prostate cancer again, and he shows up. He rides for a couple of miles and turns around, but he's there. And like everyone else is like, I have zero stuff to complain about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This guy's like, hey, how's your day? I had my 31st radiation, and you're here riding your bike with us. And it's like, okay, we got to go do our thing. And they are so inspirational and motivational.
Yeah. Well, recently I've been interviewing people over the age of 90. And I want to ask them one question. What is the first thing you're going to say to God when you get to heaven? And the other day I asked this one man this, and he said, I'm sorry. And then he said, only a joke. But it's very interesting. And people that give those kind of answers are people that are still living.
Mm-hmm.
Are people that are still living life. You're not supposed to stop.
No, you don't stop.
Yeah.
Linda, you provided a solution. So you wake up in the morning, you know how many years you've been alive, and you decide, hey, I want to keep living. So that person tunes in to Linda's podcasts and learns more about being a caregiver, or how to accept or receive care, to do self-care. You're learning that, then you tune into Maria and you do what Linda's doing, and it's like, let's get this bathroom ready. Let's think in terms of, there might be more than one person in here. So let's have the toilet have enough room, because sometimes it's a U+2 rule. That in order for you, because you've just had an injury and because there is a balance issue, there's perhaps something going on that might come under the dementia umbrella. There are some stitches that don't need to be yanked from something abdominal. And so we're just making sure everything stays straight and comes up and not too fast or whatever. And you've got all this space. And like Maria says, people get, there's a fear of embarrassment. Like you said, no fall, no call. So you're afraid to make the call for a number of reasons. Is it that bad? Are people going to see an ambulance and then they'll think I'm old because they've seen an ambulance swing to all that? Also, that someone's going to come over. You have one bathroom and it looks like the underside of a factory with pipes sticking out everywhere and, things, accoutrements all over the place. And you think, oh no, I don't want to have people over anymore because they'll ask to use my bathroom and it looks industrial. That's what I was trying to say. So it's like, hey, there's prettier ways. There's more gorgeous grab bars than just the ones that you've maybe seen elsewhere or seen when you go to the doctor's office. And all the while, this person, I am leading back to Henry, because this person goes into their doctor's appointment saying, hey, I just want to live. I want to live healthy and comfortably and be as independent as is safe for me and everyone who cares about me. And that doctor's just like, my patients are listening to me. They're not just going, I don't need that. I want everything to stay the same. I don't want to change
because we're talking
what I'm
about it more
doing.
today. Just like we are right now, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started doing caregiving, I had to teach caregivers that they were caregivers before I could even help them. Because I'm not a caregiver, I'm the faithful spouse, I'm the good daughter, I'm the whatever. Now we're talking about it on television. We're talking about it, and that is so fabulous.
Yes.
Because it shouldn't be a taboo conversation.
No.
Yeah. You're right. And people can be caregivers. And I mean, even I was a caregiver for my grandparents, but even younger people don't realize that they're caregiving if they're going to grandma's house to change the light bulb or take out the trash. If you're taking grandma's appointment or whoever, that those are caregiving duties. And, just having people just look at their life and go, oh yeah, I guess I am a caregiver. Maybe this information does apply to me.
Right.
I think it's, you're
Maybe
raising
there are more
awareness.
resources I can find out about. Maybe there's an easier way to do something I'm doing. Maybe I can learn from somebody, especially like in a support group or something like that. You can learn so much in one group than if you read 5 books.
Absolutely.
And like my one support group now, I have a lot of people in there that their loved ones have passed and they still come back because they want to help others. So what we've started is a mentor program. So if a new person comes in the group and their loved one was just diagnosed with Parkinson's and someone else in the group, their loved one passed from Parkinson's, she can mentor her. It gives the caregiver a new purpose because I was a 24/7 caregiver, and how much that person can help the other person because they know exactly the story. It's huge. It's huge.
I love that program.
It just makes the conversation better. The other day I was in my mail room and there was 2 ladies in there. I didn't know either one of them. And one lady opened up her mailbox and all the mail fell out on the floor. And she started crying. And I'm thinking, it's not worth crying over mail. So I'm helping her pick it up. And she said, oh my God, my husband has dementia. I don't even have time to pick up my mail anymore. And the other lady in the mailroom goes, my husband has dementia too. And I said, you girls need to be friends and you need to be friends with me. And now I see the 4 of them walking around the complex together. Taking a walk at night. Well, how? And now that many people don't want to tell anybody what they're going through.
Yep. It's very isolating. The plan didn't work out like you had drew it up. And now, you don't want to just accept the reality. But the reality is there's help and there's you find what you have and you use what you have. Yeah. It's easier said than done, and it takes support and it takes a willingness to take advantage of things or to at least to learn and just to say what your situation is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so fabulous. And the more you share, it's just I learn stuff from my support groups all the time. Somebody says, well, I tried this and this worked really good. Woohoo! And then we can pass it on to somebody else. And then know that we're all doing our best because caregivers are really hard on themselves.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility. It's I'm the bomb caregiver. I said, yeah, you might be the bomb caregiver. And you might feel it's all your responsibility, but believe me, sometimes your mother's looking at you and thinking, could you go away for a while and bring somebody new in for a little bit? I said, but she's not going to say that to you.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Linda, you just put it right out there so that no one, it's like, but we need to hide. We can't talk about, these aren't pleasant subjects. And you're just like, oh, phooey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get out there. You know what? We're at the middle of this hour, and uncharacteristically, I'm going to say I would love for each of you to share like those links, the contact information, so that it definitely gets into the recording and I don't look at the time and go, "Oh, can you all say it really fast?"
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lead off, and I know that my husband, who is producing this, D. Scott Smith, the motivational listener. So most people say motivational speaker. So he's
Yes.
got a flip to that, and there's a story to it. But he has been doing this sort of thing for so long. It's like this is, putting people together virtually, like 10 years ago, he was already doing that, and finally dragged me by the ankle into his realm to find those resources I wished I had had 10 years ago when I started being a hired caregiver.
Yeah.
And people asked and people needed, and all I knew was what I'd seen at maybe a couple of other homes. And I'm like, there's so much out there. And he says, yeah, let's get you on social media. New. Let's get you in front of a camera. Okay, I guess. Let's actually. And then finally I went, as long as there's a group of people on the screen with me, I'll be okay. So this is, I love it that these groups come together. It has been consistent that there's something going on that's the same. Someone goes, that happened to me too. Someone else saying, oh, before I did this, I was doing what you
Yeah.
did. We had the same thing in our family. Always there's commonalities, and people have, so now Linda knows that she can contact Maria and go,
Yeah.
so I'm sending you a picture of what they did in here. What can I do to make my bathroom a
Yeah.
disco? It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love this. Henry will be able to, take this replay and go, hey, you guys, you know what? I do more than just what I do. I actually show up for other people. I'm aware of those things that I teach in my course. I know people who speak to that and and have more resources, more solutions, more answers, even the questions that you didn't know you should be asking. Like Linda's saying, do you realize you are a caregiver? Maria's saying, if you're going over to do something that that loved one or that neighbor used to do on their own,
Yeah.
you are giving them something, giving them their independence by being the outsourced person for that. So I will lead off just us saying our links, etc. So the first one that I'm going to say is the in-person event that's happening in a little over 2 weeks here in my town, and that's Independence, Oregon. And the event is called Convergence, because that was the word that explained the coming together of people who are professionals who do um, solutions for challenges of aging or care, self care, health care, caregiving, or basically longevity, which is continuing to live and how you are going to continue to live on your own terms, with your with new goals, with continually setting new goals and achieving those goals, and finding other people who are going, yeah, I'm not just going to sit back. So you can find out more about the speakers who are appearing in the mornings here in Independence at convergence-experience.com. So it's convergence-experience.com. All of these people said, yes, I'll show up for the first one. And one of those people, whose name is Kitty, after her years of caregiving for her mom, she leveraged her her background and her skills when she worked for NBC. And she leveraged those to create an independent film. And I think all of you will love to know that she traveled in an RV around the United States to the people, several of the people who she got to know online because they were in the same boat.
Yep.
I'm at home 24/7
Yep.
with my loved one who has something under the dementia umbrella, one of those neurodiversity brain disease situations. And they were all telling each other, this was a tough day. This is what happened. Splat it right out there. Also, the funniest thing happened today. I'm still laughing about it. And I know I can tell you because we all are experiencing this together. You know, my loved one did the funniest thing. And I don't know where that came from, but you know, it's been the talk of the family. Is that because of the childhood, et cetera? And just enjoying that it's also living, not just taking care, not just a lot of people will mistakenly say caretaking as if it was groundskeeping, as if you were
Yeah. I don't like that
curating a
word.
museum. Everything's sitting there and you're the one moving it around and dusting it. You are giving your love, your abilities. You care that there is safety and that there's happiness and there's a lack of pain.
Yeah.
So she made a documentary. She's been to 3 film festivals, won 3 awards, and she's bringing it here to Independence for one screening only. I can only let 150 people in because that's how many
Exciting.
seats there are. So I'm excited for everyone who goes, I've done that journey. I grieve that I have now been diagnosed with dementia. I feel like I need to face my own future fear. Nobody even needs to know in the theater that I'm the one that I'm there for. People who are caregiving, who are in the health arena and going, you know, I've had this patient for so long and now there's a diagnosis, or I wonder if they need to ask. Sometimes you have to push and say, I know I can put on a brave face, but I'm thinking there's some changes, and I need to know what it is so that I know that I can deal with it more than just get my affairs in order. So that's something I love saying, and I'll just say that on my website, agingbetternetwork.com, you can see that for the first time in my life, I mean, after turning 60, I'm 63 now. I wrote one book because my husband said that was a good article, but you could stretch it into a guide. And so it's a practical guide for a person who needs to grieve, but they need also to make sure that their loved ones know, hey, I'm not just pushing these things down. I'm not dealing with it. I have a way. I have a reason. I have on my own terms. I'm dealing with grieving, and this is what I'm doing. I have actually got a kit. It's like a first aid kit for those times when I'm grieving or re-grieving
I
or
need to look at that. I want that.
pre-grieving, anticipatory grieving, because as we age
Yeah.
and as we are caregivers, like hired caregivers or healthcare workers, you are losing people. You're losing them to
Yeah.
dementia. So you're losing the way you used to relate to each other, and you're losing them as you hear that they're going into hospice, that et cetera. And that increases. Plus, you regrieve something that happened a long time ago because of triggers or
Yep.
anniversaries.
Yep.
The other book that I wrote is the book that no one wants to read, but everyone wishes they had already filled out. I identified 52 different aspects of aging as I was with almost 100 different families during my years of professionally caregiving.
That's fabulous.
And so here you get to go in and say, the people who care about me may be asking me, oh, you'll love this, Maria. I call it the Great Incontinental Divide. So the Great Continental Divide is the
Loving
Rocky
it.
Mountains, and water trickles to the west, or trickles to the east
Yeah.
from the Continental Divide. Yes, I was a third grade teacher. So this is a facing your future fears book, and it's like, how am I going to deal with this? Who am I going to talk to about it? um, I did it myself. I stood at a store with 2 packages of adult undergarments, and I actually told people, I'm only buying these today, go on ahead of me, you've got more than. And I talked to people and I held them the whole time, and no one fainted, no one pointed and laughed, nobody said, ew, are you having problems? I survived it. So I was practicing for a typical aspect of aging, a general thing that happens, everything from a suprapubic catheter to constipation and everything else. Toilet talk, Maria, toilet talk. It
Yes.
all matters. I want to hear from you about a bidet seat. I do not know about that, though I have been in homes with bidets. So I do want to hear about that. Let's start with Linda, then go to Henry on saying your things. I said mine was convergence-experience.com and agingbetternetwork.com to also see replays of people like Henry and Linda and Maria. So your turn, Linda. Say all of your things people can go to.
Basically, the easiest way is to go to lindaburhans.com. On there, you'll see the radio shows, the Tuesday tips, the blogs, the support groups, the workshops. As far as YouTube, just go to Connecting Caregivers Radio. And to find out information about the drug-free patches, go to sticktoit.info. And all that stuff leads you to all my other stuff. I also wrote 2 books. My first book is Good Night and God Bless, and it's about the last 18 months of my mother's life and how we didn't let the cancer kill us, but strengthen our love. And that launched my career because I moved in with my mother 3 weeks before she died, and I tucked her to bed one night, and she said to me, "Good night and God bless," which she said a million times before, but I thought it was going to be the last time I heard it. And I went in her living room and prayed, "Dear God, please give me a little longer." And she looked good the next morning. So I started writing Good Night and God Bless. And I wrote through the last 3 weeks of her life and my grieving process, and then reconstructed our adventures the 18 months before from my journals and my calendar. And the book was published right away. And when I went out to promote it, every time people came up to me crying that they needed help. And that's what changed everything. And my mother loves it that I talk about her every day. And then my second book is Connecting Caregivers, Answers to the Questions You Didn't Know You Needed to Ask. And so I had 19 professionals write it with me, and each one wrote a chapter on their expertise. And then I follow every other chapter with a heartfelt story, because that's my gig. That's what I do. So please, you can find everything at lindaburhans.com. And I'm so excited to get to know you all better, and so happy to be here today and just to help as many caregivers as we can.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Do the patches again, because it ended with a different dot something.
Stick to it .info. INFO.
Is 2 spelled T-O or number 2?
T-O.
T-O.
Stick to it.
Dot
like
info. Dot info.
Yeah. Thank you.
Stick to it. Wow. Yeah. And that made a total difference in your tripping, stumbling.
Oh, unbelievable.
Whatever.
One of the patches now, my cousin's husband doesn't have his Parkinson's tremors anymore. 2 of my caregivers are off their Xanax. And just yesterday, I found out one of my neighbors, her kid is off his ADHD medication.
And this
So
is not a stronger medicine.
it's no medicine, it's a technology. So there's a technology in the patch. There's no drugs at all. It's a technology in your patch that touches your body, connects to your neurons, goes up to your brain, and brings your brain into homeostasis so it can do what it needs to do. It's crazy. Yeah,
It's crazy.
it is.
It's crazy and it works.
When
There
I do
you go.
demonstrations on
Advertisement.
people, I can do a demonstration on a person, tell them to make a stiff on, and I'm going to try to tip them over. And most of the time I can tip them over. And then I say, all right, let's put a patch on and we try it. And I go to tip them over and they go, what? Oh my goodness. I can't believe, you know. So, yeah, look
Fall
at it.
prevention in Florida, first day of fall. That is fun,
Yeah.
fun, brilliant. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, so let's all
Henry-
stay in touch. And, you know, I'll let you know about my next conference that's coming up, the November 14th, 15th, 16th, because it's 21 speakers, totally virtual, 3 days. And anyone who registers for the conference, I don't expect anybody to sit there for 3 days. I can barely do it. As long as they register for the conference, within 30 days, they receive 21 videos of the conference. So they can share it whenever they watch it at their leisure. So,
Fantastic.
pretty
Linda
cool.
Burhans. Henry, your turn. Give us any way to contact you or find out what you're doing or find out what we need to know. Your turn. Oh, you are muted.
I believe we connected through LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And let's see, I'm trying to, I got to connect the YouTube account. We connected through LinkedIn. So finding me on LinkedIn is probably the best way to get information about what I do outside of my Navy work. I'm a practicing certified registered nurse anesthetist, in addition to associate professor at Uniform Services University. And my wife and I have started a business called Top Medical Talent, which is a kind of a boutique healthcare recruiting company. And we help people and businesses kind of find people, but it's more about the retaining and attracting.
Yeah.
And like, why do people leave? Why do people go from job to job? Why are you looking for a job? And really helping, and then going to employers when they say, hey, I need some help. Well, why are you looking for this person? Like, why is this position open? What have you done? Why don't people want to work there? And then we even kind of step in with counseling on both ends, kind of with the aging thing, kind of where that falls into what we do in that realm is being creative with people as we talked here about that people don't want to stop, but you kind of want to do something different. You don't retire. You just retire to have more choice, but you don't stop. And we've been really creative helping nurses who want to continue to do stuff. They can't work 12-hour shifts on the floor anymore, but they still feel like they have a lot to give.
Yeah.
We have a group of ladies down in Atlanta that we're helping, and they're caregivers, but they just retired of working for agency where they knew that the agency was getting a percentage, and we helped them put together their own little business where they go out and, you know, they sit, they're nurses, they're in their 70s, they have a lot to give. They just can't lift people, but they can be there. And they can help organize the care that's coming into the homes.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is, in addition, and as you all know, because this is your guys' topic, is one, people don't want to leave their house. And then all of the people like my age, I'm in my 50s, are dealing with parents who they need someone just to be there, just to check in on them, just to make sure, you know, mom doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to go anywhere. I just need someone to be there, check in on her, make sure she ate lunch, took her pills, and kind of spend some time with her. So there's a huge demand for that, huge demand for what you're doing, Maria, in terms of just the reality. You guys all know the statistics about every day, how many more of us grow, age into this new era of where we need to look at things differently, and nothing needs to stop. But there are things that people need, and they need to talk, and we need to have these conversations. So just find me on LinkedIn if you have more information about what we do. If you're looking for a job, or you're looking for people, that's what we do. We connect people, and we also help really make that proper connection where it's the right fit. Whether it be like, why are you here? Why are
I
you in
love
the
to hear that. I love the questions
Yeah.
you're asking.
Yeah.
It's
So
not just like, oh, here, fill out an application. I'll see what
no,
shift
no,
I can
no, no,
put you
no.
on.
What got you in this situation? What do you really want? What are you
Yeah,
really looking for?
yeah, because
Are
then
you
you'll be
sure?
happy.
Yeah. Are you sure it's money? Are you really sure it's money? Or is it, freedom to have more flexibility, or
Yeah,
you want to be challenged, you're bored at where you are, those types of things. So that's kind of what we are, and that's who we're about. And my wife does an amazing job of putting a lot of content up there. She did the attraction model, instead of cold calls and text messages, which drive everybody. It's part of business and part of what we do. But she just really worked hard on connecting with people and creating positive content, and it really worked. It was like 3 months of grinding, and then the next thing you know, the thing just really started to grow. And we get calls, and people will say, hey, we need some help. We're kind of groupies about with what you guys do and what you guys put up.
yeah,
And we were really happy with, we stuck to it, and it allowed us to kind of break that cycle of just beating people up with cold
yeah.
calls and text messages.
That's fabulous.
Do you have on your bookshelf Simon Sinek's First Ask Why? I think I'm saying it right.
No, I don't.
That's what I was thinking while you were talking about that. Let's talk with you about why you got your degree, why you went into this, why you spent years being trained, or why you're leaning this direction. Let's find out why you want to work in this field. And I love that, because here's this person going, I'm discovering myself. I'm discovering more about myself instead of trial and error. I'll try out this job and then I'll move to some other one. And someone will say, happy shiny over here. And everyone flocks over to that. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's not that shiny. It's like, I know myself better. And I know if I'm having a tough week, tough month, wow, what did Henry and his wife, what did we discuss? What was this about? I love that you're educating people on who they are, because that's who's going to work, not just a person showing up who's technically trained, but
Right.
it's
Because
human
we're
beings.
dealing with people, are the most
Yes,
precious
human beings.
commodities is what we're dealing with.
Yep.
This isn't
Yep.
McDonald's. This is taking care of people. And we have to realize that.
Yeah, it's a people business.
There are so many people that do it so well, and we need to value them for what they do.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And that can last a long time, to be recognized by an administrator or a coworker or a person that you are serving, to say, you just always make my day. You seem to listen beyond just my symptoms, whatever it is. And it's like, yep, there I am. I'm doing my job. I know how it would be leaving maybe a 12-hour shift, and having someone, maybe even just a family member, call on the phone. How'd it go? Blah, blah. Thank you so much for noticing that. Yes, that's really been important to them. And I forgot to write it down in notes or mention that. Thanks for being diligent in that area. And it's like, I did my job today. Maria, you're going to finish us out. Don't forget about bidet seat. That's different than just getting a bidet from the bidet guru place. So, and give us all the ways that we can contact you and what we should know that you're doing up and coming, or that you recommend.
Absolutely. If you are looking for ways to create a safe and beautiful bathroom, head on over to toilettalk.me. And I have it in my, I have my email address listed as my name here, Maria at toilettalk.me. I have a free blog. I create videos on YouTube. And the most exciting thing that's coming up that I'd really like for you all to know about is I am creating a grab bar guide. It's called the Bold, Beautiful, and Balanced Grab Bar Guide, and it gives you 4 steps to customize your grab bar placement next to the toilet. So it makes it easier. It's dense with information, and it also gives a lot of additional information if you wanted to hire a contractor. So Linda, you are at like the perfect point. So I will definitely be sending it to you. But you're also at a great point. I have a free newsletter. So for anyone who signs up for my newsletter, you will automatically get this grab bar guide. It's completely free. And I also have, if you're a newsletter subscriber, you will also receive my free ebook, 10 Tips for a Pretty Potty. And I have just 10 things that pretty much every bathroom should have that's excellent for aging in place, and it's excellent for anyone of any age, of any ability. So Linda, again, you are at the perfect point for that ebook, so you can talk with your bathroom remodeler and be like, I want this. So yes, I have tons of free content. I love talking to different people. I'm very active on YouTube. My handle on YouTube is @ToiletTalkMe. And I'm also very active on Instagram. And my handle on Instagram is @ToiletTalkMe.
Okay.
So speaking of bidet seats, I own bidet seats in my home. I love cleaning up after toileting with water. Water is more gentle and effective at cleaning your bottom compared to toilet paper or wet wipes. And so for bidet seats, here in America, we have really little bathrooms. So we don't have the room to have a toilet and a separate bidet like what you commonly see in Europe. So the bidet seat attachments are great solutions because you can attach a bidet seat to your toilet so that you can do your regular business on the toilet and then just stay put and control the bidet seat to clean your bottom after you go. And bidet seats, oh my gosh, I have videos on how bidet seats are beneficial for caregivers, how they're beneficial for after shoulder surgery, after hip surgery, for larger bodied individuals. I have all kinds of different videos on my YouTube channel, but also you can find that information in my blog. And lastly, I just want to mention my bathroom solutions shop. That is where you can find beautiful grab bars. I'm a Ponte Giulio distributor. Ponte Giulio, they are an Italian company that makes high quality products. So I do sell regular stainless steel grab bars, which are great and very economical. But I also do sell grab bars that are higher end. I have some in my bathroom. And I also sell vinyl coated grab bars, which are excellent. They have stainless steel, but when you feel them, they're warm to the touch, which is great for people. I know my grandparents, they froze all the time, especially when they were in the bathroom. So having a grab bar that's nice and warm to the touch that doesn't allow your hands to slip around is fabulous.
Yeah.
I highly, and you can get them in 15 different colors. So Linda, you go to town on the colors.
Okay.
Yes, it'd be perfect. But thank you so much, Christine, for having me. And I love getting to know you more, Henry, with your company. That's fabulous for helping our fellow caregivers. Yeah. And then Linda, oh my gosh, you are a treasure trove of information. I can't wait to dive into your content as well.
Me too. Ditto.
I was all over the website. I'm just it's really good. Very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, he's already looking. Oh my goodness. Yes. This is why we do this, because we're helping each other. Oh, yes. I guess I'm just done talking because my brain's just going all around this. You know what? Thank you so much. I'm just going to wave goodbye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to each of
Very nice
you.
meeting you all.
This has been great.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. There are solutions. There are pretty solutions. And I hope that healthcare people who already are settled in a job seek you and your
Yeah.
wife out and just go, you know
Yeah.
what? It could be better.
Yeah.
Or I could be like the one who makes this all happen. My husband thinks I'm done and I should be. Okay, I'm the
Okay.
one that's making good culture at my workplace here because I got a hold of Henry and his wife. All righty, bye you guys. I really
Have
will
a
say
delicious
goodbye.
day.
Goodbye.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everybody.